It's been a kind of long process of trying to have the community take a closer look at this so that they in terms know what's involved and as clearly as possible understand it. So in this particular case, we're asking that the City Council reconsider as a group to give attention to the fact that there were a whole number of people, we think maybe 90 people, circulating petitions throughout the community, asking people questions about this project, as well as the efficacy of the City Council deciding to take bonds worth $31 million. And as we questioned more and went around the community, we were certainly aware of the fact of what we found most to be disturbing about the entire process was simply the lack of information. That few people were even aware. They thought maybe there was a new city hall, maybe there's a police department, municipal building. There was all sorts of other things that they were just totally unsure of, which kind of surprised me because there had been a few articles in the newspaper about it. So we definitely had a communication problem with the community that was quite large. And as we asked the voters, what did we discover in this process? As I said earlier, the most striking discovery was that few people knew about what had been planned. They did not know about the court's building's plans. I think few people would describe what this building looked like. I think few people would know who's going to be in it, how it was to be used, and why it was going to be used. They didn't know that the project was costing the city nearly $9 million, $49 million. They were kind of upset that the city was proceeding at a time when their own lives were changing radically, dramatically, and daily, citywide, nationally wide, internationally. So they were kind of concerned. Why would the city do this at this time when we're still dealing with so many other things that are not done in the city as well as we would like them done? And why are we proceeding in this direction? We know that there's probably going to be a cost to this of about $1.5 million a year. And this will probably come out of basically the general fund. We're told that the savings are simply in the lease of the property, and we come up with these figures, and therefore we're free and clear. Hardly. We didn't include the cost of security. We didn't include the maintenance and upkeep of the building. We didn't include the fact that 125 spaces are disappearing in front of City Hall, and a very accessible City Hall. It's extremely accessible. People come, they park in front, they walk in. We still have a small town feel. When we do this, we're going to change that. We're going to change the small town feel, and we're going to then say to the public, another corridor, a building corridor. We're pleased, but is the public. They did not know either that there were alternative proposals that could be pursued. They didn't know that funds from other essential city services were being diverted in order to pay for this project. Now, we did have surpluses as time went on, and that was put into a fund, and that was continued on. But I really think that if the community was on board, they would have been brought to this conclusion over a 5-year period very gradually and very thoroughly, very clearly. We are about to build this, we would like to build this, and this is why. And take 5 years and educate the community. So we failed to educate them. There was some talk a few years ago about moving it over to the library lot. I remember speaking about that myself at City Council. And we talked about dead zones in the city, creating night dead zones where people wouldn't want to be. There's no reason to come here, walk past here, or be near it. And to the degree that we then put another large building across from the fire department, which is all closed up at night, hands-on museum closed up at night, then we create another building where people feel that it's not approachable. So I think we have an opportunity here for a lot of reasons. We have an opportunity because of what we spoke about, the economy. If the train has left the station, doesn't mean you just let it keep rolling. There's always time to reevaluate things and to take a second look. And I do think we have reason to do that at this point. And I know that it would appear that maybe money had been wasted in the study, or we need to do this, and all those reasons have been addressed at different times. And I myself have been disappointed. When I ran for council last year, I was running on $1 million. The city council has allotted $1 million towards this fund, and now we're at $49 million a year later. And in that time, there could have been, even in that 1 year, there could have been a tremendous amount of education going on. We claim that we have transparency in government in this town, but this particular process that we had of going around and actually talking to people was a clear indication that something is amiss. Some form of communication is missing. And it was hard to figure out exactly what that was. Some people said, I don't get the newspaper. I sometimes watch the city council meetings. But somehow we failed to educate as to what was going on. We did a good job on the compost removal carts. They're not really that important compared with this. This will have very, very long-term effects on our city. There were some on city council who actually were a little against this as it started off, but then were convinced that, well, this is inevitable. And there are other comments being made about the use of the space presently that the county occupies. Cooperative government, I believe we could show that we have cooperative government here. The taxpayers, both county and city, would appreciate that fact. This could all be put on hold. We could do some other things. We're getting a high security courthouse when in fact we're told that we're mandated to have a high security courthouse. And my feeling is we are not. Part of the cost of running this new courthouse will be the security, the utilities, the refurnishing. So we will have quite a bill there, year after year after year, that we will have to take care of. And I just feel that we could use the money for other things. So I would respectfully ask that people on council take another look at it. We managed to raise 5,600 signatures and probably closer to 6,000. Another 30 days we would have had the amount, and it would have gone to ballot. The public in all 5 wards is aware of this and would like us, I believe, to take a second look at this and at least give them a chance to, if it's such a good project, let them vote on it. And I think we do have needs, but I think when we ask the public to come up with this much money in taxation, that there should be some further education and justification for it, and particularly now when we have so many other needs before us. So I believe that the people should have an opportunity to sign in the dotted line, so to speak, that the people will be obligated to pay for this debt service for many, many years. We believe in a city that has, and I keep going back to this, that I believe that the cost of owning a home in Ann Arbor continues to rise, and that people will leave the city for the townships, and those moving to the area will choose to locate outside the city as well. What we believe in here is that we place a great value on maintaining a diversity of population, and we do have that, but I believe we're losing it, and we're forcing it to leave. As all the bills go up, it becomes more and more difficult for people who have been here to be able to pay these increases in fees and taxes, etc. So I feel a burden, and I also feel a responsibility towards the people of this town who are lower and middle income people, most of all, and that we should look seriously at their needs and try to address those as fervently as we can. So I'm hoping that we can take a second look at this and make a decision.